Sup fools, welcome to tutorial number 16 on the feeling, which is on this saw lead that plays in the build-up. This bad boy. During this bit.
It makes you feel like rooting for your favorite team.
Alright, well, this is a very simple sound. If you've ever made a saw lead before, you basically already know how this goes. But, whatever, what are you going to do? Alright, new pattern. I'm going to call it new pattern. Harmor. Alrighty. So, leave it on a saw wave. Huge, great big load of unison. Let's turn this up a bit. Turn this up all the way up to full blur. No idea what that does. Manual doesn't elaborate. Can't be bothered to investigate it manually. And then as much pitch as you can possibly get away with. Without it sounding too, you know, brrrrr. So about this much. Wonderful. So next, to avoid blowing people's ears out too badly, I just use a volume envelope with a bit of an attack. We're getting there. And a lot less release. But I still leave release on so it doesn't stop like a brick wall. Because basically, I'm having notes like this. Whoops. With basically no gap between them. So I don't want this note to still be doing its release while this one starts playing, in case I have two which don't go very well together. If I have two very discordant notes, I don't want there to be sort of in the transitions between them while one of the notes is still playing. So not too much release, please. Where's my pattern? Here we go. Alright. So I turn sustain all the way up. And don't know why I modified this if sustain's all the way up. So that's all we got so far. Alright, so that's the meat of it really. Next job is vibrato. So I just turn the speed all the way up. And then you can't hear that obviously because I haven't actually turned it on yet. Turn the depth up a bit. And give it a bit of an envelope so that it comes in more slowly with pitch vibrato depth. Boom, boom, bit of that. Turn on the portamento and give it a nice long beefy slide. Somewhere kinda... Alrighty, and that's it, sort of. I should stop saying that's it when I know full well it's not it, but whatever. So it's just amount all the way up, low all the way down. And that's that. I suppose this was just kind of a lazy EQ, I guess. So just to turn the low down. And that's more or less that. So, I'm going to copy the notes from this one, paste them over to my new sound that I just made on my wonderfully named pattern. Slap it on the end, see what it sounds like. Close enough. Alright, so the next thing I did was to make it build up during the build up, and just did this. That was all it was. Didn't change any filter settings, just automated the frequency. And you can see that envelope. About here. Just here. So it goes from 0 to 100 basically.
It makes you feel like rooting for your favorite team.
Alright. So that's it for the synth. Now it's time for the effects. The effects are just a reverb and an EQ. And the EQ doesn't really do any EQ. I'll show you in a moment, obviously. So here's the reverb. All I did was... whoops. Turn that back up. Turn off that pesky high cut by turning it all the way up. Turn the decay all the way down, and turn the wet all the way up. And I turn the dry down a little bit. So all that really does is just give it a little bit of stereo wideness, I suppose. So it kind of sounds a little bit, not really, a bit like Unison when you do this, in the sense that it makes your sound wider in stereo and softer when you do a wet-only reverb. So let's take, I don't know, FL keys. Here's an effect I like to do sometimes. So let's just take FL keys, reverb, wet only, and just so that it doesn't like mangle the sound too much, because if we're hearing wet only, we don't want a massive high cut, because then we're cutting out loads of the sound we want to keep. So wet only, and then turn up the high cut. You should also do it with the low cut as well, but and turn up the decay all the way down, so you get just reverb. Sounds a bit terrible with this actually, but whatever. So that's the gist anyway. I like to do that with leads sometimes, just to make it a bit less boring when it's just a saw wave, you know. Alrighty. The final thing on the sound is good old EQ2. Just for the sake of OCD, I turn off every single thing except for the one in the middle, and give it a low pass. Whoops. And that's it. I'll show you what I use that for. That was to automate it down at the very end. It's probably a good idea to do it back up again afterwards. And you can hear that in the original. So here's the original, and here's the envelope I'm talking about. So where's the actual, so yeah, here's the original EQ. The only other thing I did is just to stop the EQ from changing the sound at all, apart from when we're fading out at the end. I don't want it to, because at the moment it's kind of slightly boosting the top bit, and even though it probably doesn't really make any difference, you may as well turn it all the way down and then automate it so it stays off the entire time, except for when you're doing this little fade out, so it just doesn't change the sound the rest of the time, even though it almost certainly won't, but whatever. Boom! And that's this entire sound. Job done. Nice one. Well, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next video.